Lachlan, Kaylee, Callum, turn around quick.
Oh, here we go, look.
Precious like gold and gems, they sparkle, and things that are hot are orange. Now let's test this theory. I'm not a bright bloke. Ask my wife, she'll tell you that. So I like to do things by experimental trial and error. Now I was mucking around earlier. I did that little fella. I just got to straighten out. It's just not quite level enough on the side. So that's my next thing I've got to straighten out. If anyone's got any questions, please feel free to shout them out. Now while I've got you all here, there's three things I'd recommend you do at Sovereign Hill. The first is the gold pouring, which is the road behind me and at the left on the end, where they pour gold bars on a gold mine. But if you go in there and you do that demonstration, says, what's the bar worth? You say to him, I don't know mate, but gold's running 2,000 US an ounce, there's 32 ounces a kilo, you tell me. Alright, you ready? Happy birthday to me. Okay, we'll do that again. The kids always like that one. So I'll test that theory again. The second thing I'd recommend, the road behind me, up the hill and to the right, is the lolly making demonstration. For you kids, you get sample taste.
Of His Imperial Majesty, Napoleon Bonaparte. Since that time, we have once again resumed our troubleshooting role, and here in your godforsaken, benighted Antipodean colonies, we have taken part in the escort of gold from Ballarat to Melbourne town. We also took part in something what you, miners, insist on referring to as your battle of the Eureka Stockade. Wasn't much of a battle. We woke up early one Sunday morning and we walked right over the top of you. It took us 15 minutes. We were home in time for a nice hot breakfast. 22 of you never acquired breakfast again. What we're about to do now is fire off a series of shots. I take this opportunity to warn you, these are exceptionally loud. These are not small caliber pop guns. These are 58 caliber rifles, muskets. These are handheld cannon. Therefore, if you have a small child or bubby with you, you will ensure that its ears are covered, or its ears will be a-ringing. It will be a-crying, and it won't be my fault.
Actually, pwede tayo dun sa kabila.
Squad! Hop da! Hop! Hop bar! Hop!
It's gonna be
Just about to see that, thank you very much, sir. Right! Step back from the ropes till you are not touching them, young lady! Their lovely photo would be your last. Make sure those kids don't step forward, or you. Shot! Halt! Drummers, stand fast. Firing party, one pace forward. March! Squad will prepare to fire in series from the left. Port arms. Put your fingers in your ears. I am not joking. Squad, present. Arm. Number one. Oh!
Woo! Bloody hell. That was huge.
Something in a candle. It's only a very small amount of heat. And going back to science class, it's a red, it's like all yellow flame. So that's the coldest sort of flame. It's still burning, but it doesn't heat. So that's why these candles will burn 1 inch now, each, and 10 inches now will burn 10 hours or so. But it will melt down quite quickly. You can see how quickly it's solidified. So once, you know, it gets in the air and stuff, it will slowly start solidifying. And it stings because it's warm, so it's not good for anything. Yeah. Those ones are actually hotter. Just different.
Yeah. It's a nice thing. That is a hearse. Just for me. Thanks so much.
Oh yeah, they put bells just in case they were still alive and they put them in there.
Yeah, they did.
Just in case. And if you really hate that person and you just so happen to work at the, and you just so happen to work there, you could just ignore the fact that bells were.
Oh, a fancy hearse. Whoop.
I'll say it.
Just free to sit on the steps there, folks. These kids won't kick you. Good day to you, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Andrew, as I said, and welcome to the Gold Pour. Hands up if anybody has ever been padding in our creek ever. Come on, put your hands up, don't make it come out. Keep your hands up if that is gold. Well done, well done, well done, hands down. We know there is gold in the creek. The reason we know there is gold in the creek is because we sprinkle $1,500 worth in every week. And we have been doing that for 52 years. This happening. The creek is, of course, artificial. It is 30 metres long with a concrete bottom. It is run by an electric pump. It is a Yamaha. The 22 carat natural gold we sprinkle in is not artificial. It's exactly what you'd expect to find in a river or a creek in Ballarat, and you still do. Ballarat never, ever, ever ran out of gold. This is still regarded as the second richest gold field the world has ever seen. The first is Bendigo, by a long way. Boy, they keep reminding us of it. Ballarat never, ever, ever ran out of gold. 400 metres almost directly below your feet. On Monday morning, they'll be laying explosives. This is still an active gold field. Ballarat never ran out of gold. 8 out of the 10 largest gold nuggets the world has ever seen have come from the Golden Triangle of Ballarat, Bendigo, Tasmania, and Alexander. What Ballarat ran out of was pumps. And tragically, men. Australia had a very high casualty rate in World War I. What that meant was many of the miners who went off to war didn't come back again. They were lying in the fields of France. They were lying in the fields of Gallipoli. What that meant was, brutally, there was a labour shortage. The mines couldn't get workers. Now, if you want to know what Ballarat looked like in the 1900s, hands up if you've ever been lucky enough to go to Manhattan. Hands up if you've ever seen a picture of Manhattan. Hands up if you've seen any American movie in the last 50 years. Ballarat looked like Manhattan, except replace those skyscrapers with copper heads like our big mining tower. There were dozens of them. Each of the copper heads represented a different mine. Each of those mines was generally owned by a different company. When a mine closed down because we couldn't get workers, not only did the shaft close down, much more importantly, the pump stopped working. Why on earth would you need a pump in Ballarat? It is pretty much the highest regional city in Australia. Well, digging a hole in Ballarat is like digging a hole in the sands of the beach. It's like digging a hole in most places in the world. Sooner or later, it will fill up with water. You have to keep pumping that water table down so your miners can get deeper. They reached what we ridiculously call these days a tipping point. So many pumps closed down, so many mines closed down. They couldn't keep the groundwater down, and deep mining was abandoned for several decades. They knew exactly where the gold was in some circumstances. They simply couldn't get to it. In the meantime, of course, we built the city. In the 90s, they installed modern pumps. What you do in a creek, though, remember the creek, is called shallow alluvial gold mining. Shallow means not deep. Alluvial means, if you like, water. It means gold has been eroded over time by wind and rain, general weather, volcanic action, earthquake, lightning strike, alien invasion. All right, maybe not that, just seeing if you're paying attention. But I see instead, with anything that's lying on the ground in what has generally been a wet climate, there's always a good strong possibility it's going to get washed down to the lowest point in the landscape, which is generally where you're going to find a river or a creek. So there were 3 stages of mining in Ballarat. There was progression occasionally like today. They all occurred at once. The first is what you do in our creek. The second is what Ballarat was famous for. Millions of years ago. Oh, first of all, behind me about 8 kilometres, there's a volcano. Its name is Mount Monarchy. 8 kilometres that way is another one, Mount Bumignon. And then within 50-mile radius or circumference, there's many more. Millions of years ago, they all got very angry. Lava flowed across this valley, molten rock. What that did, of course, is bury all the existing creeks and rivers with, of course, their tens or hundreds of thousands of years worth of gold nuggets trapped within. The other difference, of course, there was nobody around looking for them back then. We hadn't come down from the trees. 30,000 years ago, last recorded time it happened, yes, there were people here, and there still were. They were and are called the Watherong, and upon whose land we still stand with respect to elders past, present, and future. The Watherong were here. Well, the Watherong were and are essentially a very practical people. Gold, well, it's very pretty. It's particularly ridiculous to carry around if you lead a semi-nomadic lifestyle. It's very heavy, especially if you can't make anything use of it. We're told at Edge they tended to leave it lying where it was until the Europeans took an interest in it. In about 1855, some of the miners figured this out. Some of them had seen the same conditions in California. They walked along to the edge of the old lava flow, which is right where my house is, and they dug down. 30 metres down, they found the first of those ancient riverbeds. They were, without doubt, the richest gold mines this planet has ever seen. In terms of the tiny size of the mine, a quarter the width, a quarter the height of the hallway in your house. Massive concentration of alluvial gold nuggets. And make sure you get the chance to go to the Red Blue Mine. That's our free mine field, which is all about alluvial, deeply alluvial gold mines. They call them jewellery shops. You crawled along on your hands and knees for part of your 7-hour-a-day shift through mud and running water in pitch darkness with a candle to light your way. Probably, if you had half a brain, terrified most of the time. But occasionally you might have the opportunity to pluck out with your bare fingers a nugget the size of a pigeon's egg. Clearly they were some of the most dangerous. The miners were trying to hold up a pile of wet pebbles and mud. Consequently, one miner drowned almost every fortnight. The gold I have in here, though, is non-alluvial. It hasn't been eroded from anywhere. It's where it was put. Now, this is the third stage of mine. Where it was put is called the source. And the source is this: quartz, silicon, sand on the beach, the main ingredient for glass. And it's in this, sometimes a kilometre underground in Ballarat, that you find the original frozen rivers of gold. So gold forms under incredibly high pressure, in solution, as almost a crystal forming quartz. And then over millions of years, it may find its way to the surface, or we go chasing it. Wherever you get your gold from, whether you get it working with one friend in a shallow alluvial mine like our creek, 20 friends in a deep lead alluvial mine like our pre-Red Hill mine today, or as part of a shift of 100 workers a kilometre below the ground in our main quartz mine, wherever you get your gold from, unless you want to leave it as a natural gold nugget, then you need me. I'm the head of the food chain. I'm an industrial blacksmith. It's my job to purify gold. Now that implies, of course, there are impurities, and so there are. Sometimes in Ballarat, it's silver. Sometimes it's a weird thing called antimony. Most of the time, of course, it's going to be this: silicon, sand on the beach, quartz. Or it's going to be something I've purposely added to trap the gold. A miracle called quicksilver, which you know better as mercury. Mercury is a liquid metal, which is already fairly amazing. What interests us, though, is mercury's ability to almost instantly find, bind, and form what's called an amalgam, or mixture with many other metals, including gold. So, if I take a copper plate and I coat it with mercury, the mercury sticks, it stays stuck. Even if I then take that copper plate and put it in the way of the slurry of crushed quartz, water, and hopefully gold that's coming out of the Hamster battery next door, what sticks to the mercury is the gold. What I've made is called an amalgam trap. At the end of the day, I scrape it all up, yes, with my bare hands, pop it in this thing called a retort. That's 356 degrees. I can get the mercury to change shape. In fact, to change state, it becomes a vapour. Runs along this pipe, hits a bucket of water, and immediately changes state again, condenses back into a liquid. That's good. That means I can use it again. It's expensive. What's gooder, which is not a real word, is that I don't breathe in the vapours, which over time most definitely will kill me. What I'm left with looks vaguely like gold, but the final process, you know, that really hasn't changed probably for 10,000 years before the time of Cleopatra. And that process is called smelting. And as the name implies, the vast majority of that is simply melting. Gold melts at 1,063 degrees Celsius. I brought this furnace to 1200. That's going to give me 15 seconds to pour the gold. So, if you happen to have a camera with you, now's the time to get ready. I won't be waiting for you to focus. And just stay where you are, folks. Don't come any closer. If I did happen to drop the crucible between here and there, I would expect to lose most of my toes. Worst case scenario, an entire limb. If a drop fell on you because you crept too close for a good photograph, it would come out again. The other side. Was that scary? Were you guys scared? Maybe a little bit. Oh, okay. Maybe that's scary. Back in the day, of course, we would have used a coal-fired furnace. These days, we use an induction furnace. Bear with me, folks. This bit takes a little bit of concentration. glowing thing is called a crucible. Here's one. It's made of graphite, which is carbon, what you find in a grey lead pencil at school. A little bit of clay, a lot of clay, and a little bit of silicon. And compared to 2,000 degrees, the trade-off is not that much stronger than a biscuit. The final smelt, or purification of the gold that you just witnessed, really is a simple process. We take the impure gold, and when we pop it in the crucible, we add a very simple substance called borax. Gold is incredibly easy to purify for two reasons. It is incredibly heavy. It is incredibly dense. So as it melts, of course, it sinks. As it sinks, anything that isn't as dense and heavy as gold,
Comes to the top.
which is apparently the vast percentage of the rest of the known universe, simply floats to the surface. More or less the same way the cream floats on top of milk. Now the borax is exceptionally fine, and as that rises up through the gold, it absorbs the vast majority of the rest of the impurities, and that floats above the surface. Then, just like when you accidentally boil milk in a saucepan, no matter what you do, you are guaranteed to get that truly disgusting protein skin on top. Like the worst made cafe latte in the cups. If you're very careful when you boil milk, you can get the truly disgusting protein skin to stick to the side of the saucepan. In this case, anything that is gold sticks to the side of the crucible, doesn't end up in the gold bar. It is, however, still a little bit warm.
Oh,
In fact, at approximately 800 degrees Celsius,
wow.
this particular bar of gold will now take approximately 1 hour sitting there like that to cool down to the point whereby I could comfortably handle it. Why so long? Because gold has a low emissivity. It's really not terribly good at radiating heat. It's absolutely fabulous at conducting heat, which is a separate thing. But of course it needs something substantial to conduct to. Air is not enough. A large body of water probably is. And hopefully, by the time I've popped the crucible back into the furnace, they really want to talk to you. Yeah, I hate that. The only time I can never get my feet to shut up is when I press the snooze button. Yeah, I always miss it. Right. So, having taken all that off, all the heat that couldn't radiate away, all the heat that couldn't conduct itself to those thinly spaced molecules of air, has managed to rid itself through superheated steam. Invisible, in fact. If I put my hand over the top of that when I first put it in, it would have taken the skin off the palm of my hand. But in that very short time, with a bit of luck, this particular bar of gold is now perfectly safe to handle. And what we're left with is 100 ounces.
Oh,
3
wow.
kilograms.
That's 3 kilos.
No, but good question. 99.99%, 24 karat pure gold. Today's value is pretty much 300,000 Australian dollars. Why is that even vaguely important? It's only money? Well, unless you're a Twitter-owning multi-billionaire with some strange business practices, probably does matter. With a bit of luck, you've got a little bit of savings set aside, you've got some superannuation. Some of it is probably going to be hiding in this. It's called a safe haven. Shoot you down in flames, economists, but I think the rule is if the world is feeling safe, this tends to go down in value. If the world is feeling not safe, it tends to go up in value. That's another rash generalisation. At the moment, it's pretty close to 300,000 Australian dollars. 4 years ago, before everything went mad, 160,000.
Oh, shit.
I would love to hand it around.
Don't risk it.
Unfortunately, there's 300,000 reasons I'm not that, but can you see the glitter? You see that glitter? We call that the mirror ball effect. I call it the disco ball effect because I'm that old. However, that is perfectly flat. What you're seeing there is the grain of the gold. Just like wood has got grain, so does the gold. And it is still, as I said, when it first forms in this stuff, that grain is almost crystalline. Unfortunately, what I have to do now is take this delightful ball back into the bulletproof case. Voila! Then I'm going to open up these doors. We have a shop. Which never expected that. You don't have to buy anything. Come through, say.
Just watch him make it. Syrup like this, or we could also use an oil. So for our oils, that's okay using this, or maybe even our orange ones, which we made earlier today. We use anything from oil, we pass them down the table here, so you don't need to do over here. With my syrup, I'm just going to make sure I hit my big magic red button, which will fill the plate, make it safe for me to add that flavouring. If I don't hit that button, big possibility of something happening is a nice big fireball. Now that's a very entertaining show for you guys. For me, well personally I like having my eyebrows, so not looking at
Stay still.
Alright, as I add the flavouring, you can see that bacon starting to come off. As I mix it in a little bit more. This is probably one of the more challenging parts of being a confectioner when you're doing a demonstration.
Watch.
And that's why. It's not a great look when you start off with
Just
a
a little lolly. You watch.
yeah, that vapour's pretty strong in the back of the throat. Yeah, start for it there. And if you're walking around today, you smell this sort of flavouring, it's probably coming from our chimney. You can smell the red
Shush.
Okay. Unfortunately, it's separated those, so you can see right. I'm going to pour it out to my table just here. So I will ask if anyone can't see that table, make sure they're in a position where they can. Just want to start pouring so I can't stop. Right now, at this point in time, my temperature is probably sitting just under 160 degrees. So it's very, very dangerous. So 3, 2, 1, here we go.
Oh, and you have to do it towards you.
Yeah,
Put your hand down.
super dangerous. Any vapors on me, just a little bit, they're giving a really nasty blister, pretty horrible burn. Even if the tap right behind me is running cold water, by the time I get there, I'll bring
Okay, just a sec. Okay, I'll chap.
It'll be very, very dangerous. Straighten out as much as you can. Once I finish straightening this out, I'll then move on to another very important step, and that's the dishes.
Can you put your
Right
legs
now,
around
I
my
do
ears?
this super, super easy.
Put your legs around
No
my
mask
waist.
at all.
Yeah, that's better.
I add a bit of hot water into the pot. I can even just wipe the lid of my pot right now to the level it's at. Just starts to dissolve into that hot water. So wipe the lid, make sure you get all that toffee, and then the rest of it will just dissolve into the dishes, quite literally do this yourself in here. As long as you get on them straight away. If I was to leave it even just for this demo, I'd have to go out the back and grab out chisel or leave the pot to soak overnight. So it's really important to get on it straight away. Slightly a bit of water as well. And the last one, fill up. There. And the good thing about when I'm doing my dishes, I'm giving my toffee some time to cool down.
Like jelly, Mum. It is like jelly, but shh.
Straight away. However, when I'm on this far away and flipping that toffee on itself, my hands start to touch the skin that's developed underneath. I still got to be really careful. For one, I don't want
like
my finger
jelly,
all the way through the
Mum.
skin. That one is, well, nasty burn. I also don't want to flick that liquid toffee onto my skin either. That's another nasty burn.
Wow.
Pretty much part of being a confectioner and doing it yourself. Confectionery is actually a craft, not a trade, so there's no formal education. You don't get certificates saying you are now a confectioner. So we consider our first bird as that certificate. So it's very, very exciting the first time you learn stuff. After that, not so exciting. So right now, I've got 15 pounds of sugar, 5 pounds of glucose, it's caramelised, and 5 pounds of water. That water's all out of there, so it's pretty much 20 pounds of sugar, a really sweet raspberry flavouring. So to balance it out, we'll add our citric acid. So this is what gives it that nice bit of tang. Our sour sweets, you get 3 scoops of this stuff. So I mix it really nicely. It's just going to have that nice tang. But of course, otherwise I'm making like a raspberry drop roulette, I guess. But some will be really sour, some will be really sweet. As this cools down though, I'll start to mix this one in. So right now, I'm not getting that instant nerve and touching it, it's a little bit but it will start to start heating in my hands, and as that heat builds and builds, that's where I get my burn. So to prevent that, I use my confectioner's glove, or my poor man's glove, and essentially that should be a rolling machine there. And our rolling machine is something that we're pretty proud of here. And the reason being is it's a pretty old piece of technology. In fact, John Brown, the first confectioner of this business, he bought it second-hand in England before he came to Australia. So we've been making that mold as well over 100 years. Very, very impressive technology.
Look.
We had someone actually who recognised the logo of the company that made it, called up the company and using it, thinking it would be a cool model thing. It turns out they certainly make machines to last, because most people that have one have been using it for quite a while. So they weren't too surprised to hear their machine is still going strong.
You make them now?
Yeah.
What is it?
It's
lollies, yeah.
We haven't changed one thing about it, I should say, and that's the mould in the middle. It's a lovely bright sort of golden colour, I could say grass colour, since it's made out of grass. The reason to change that is because they used to hand card all their moulds, so they needed a stock metal. If you look at the back wall there, you can see some darker sort of moulds. We can't use those ones because there's quite a high content of lead. That's what they use for their moulds. So obviously, like arsenic, lead's not great for sweets. Not good for building up strong base of customers. It's got some pretty negative effects. For instance, it can lead to memory loss for adults and stuff like that. For children, it's not good for a developing mind. It can hinder that. And lead to memory loss in adults, I think. So the one thing I guess that sort of worked in people's favour back then is you weren't really eating sweets regularly enough to sort of let poisoning and stuff. Target sweet was quite a rare thing. At that point, Queensland hadn't quite been colonised enough for us to start growing up there, so we didn't really have a place to grow the sugar here, and therefore we were importing all our sugar in, coming from the Caribbean, so quite expensive. Sweets therefore were very, very expensive. They were $2 bag for $4. Back then closer to $20, $25. And you got to think about the way you're earning money back then. As an adult, you're working, 10-hour days, 6 days a week. So actually, you're working that hard to spend all that money. So then you're working in today's
What happened? He dropped it.
That's a shame. After later. Give the hands a wash on But anyway, moving on. So you're not really going to go sharing your sweets with kids very often. Partly because once you get them one drop, you can ask for another one and another one and another one. And you can go before the first one.
Mom, he helped me.
So you're not going to be spending that money. So kids didn't get sweets. That's a big thing in the 1850s. They were pretty much just for adults. And to start with too, we weren't even using flavours like our raspberry drops here. Our flavouring would have been very simple. In fact, it would have just been the sugar, so just the toffee flavour. That would have been sweet enough. You got to think about the diets back then. You're eating mutton, and then maybe a little bit of damper as well. And then probably some more mutton after that as well. So your diet doesn't really contain any sugar at all. So just a little bit of sugar was a really big change, and enough to break up that diet. The other thing too about that diet is you can sort of tell not going to be super great for you, probably going to be a bit puffed up. Don't worry though, the apothecary came up with a solution. Similar to our roller though, it was made out of lead. So it was a ball about the size of our sweets here, made purely from lead. You'd swallow that one, and it would make its way through your system quite harshly, sort of extracting everything, probably resulting in a moment that you really want to keep to yourself. And then at the end of that, what you do is you would fish for that lead pill, you'd wash it up again, and you'd sell it back to the apothecary for the next person.
Oh.
Sort of why it's called the everlasting pill there. Don't worry though, us confectionists, we came up with the solution, and that's an aniseed drop. So lolly starts having more medicinal purpose eventually. Aniseed is close cousins of licorice. If anyone's eating too much licorice, you'll know that yeah, it does work a bit long. Other things too, you've got eucalyptus, great for a sore throat, cough or cold symptoms. Other things, ginger. Ginger was really good. If you had a bit of an upset stomach, you calm that one down nicely. You can look at your cloves seeds. Local anaesthetic, so you get a toothache. Wouldn't help the toothache, but it would take the pain away. Probably make the toothache worse. Yeah. Well, there's a really thin layer of toffee, sorry, between my sweets here. So basically, I'm just encouraging that to really out to break this apart. Usually, we'll have to sit our sweets out for a bit longer. But once it cools down, it becomes really easy for me to break them apart. Very therapeutic. All I have to do is this. Oh, nice. Tell you what, it's a very satisfying thing to do at the end of a long day. So, do you have any problems? Yeah, that's good. Good therapy. Who would like to try an ice cream after? Awesome. Yeah, I'll give you guys a round of jobs, and you guys will take the secret. Alright, the one thing I will say soon is which means sometimes it can stick a jaw shut for a couple of hours. Might not be great, little ones, but they've also been great.
Yes.
Smoke coming out of the chimneys because they've actually lit the fire.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful.
It's a fancy pants house.
Is it? All right.
Urine authenticity. Oh, wash house.
Produced by any electrochemical apparatus is in absolute measure equal to the dynamic equivalent that takes place of a chemical reaction that takes place during the passage of time. To be more specific, ladies and gentlemen, or more clear, shall I say, it takes some time for the device to conduct the electrical fluid, heat up the alloy to the right temperature to detonate the charge. I performed this experiment in Melbourne 3 days ago, and it took approximately 40 seconds for the device to detonate. So ladies and gentlemen, I don't have 40 seconds. No 40 seconds to waste. So, I have in fact halved the amount of time it shall take for that process to occur, because I have indeed, ladies and gentlemen, cut the wire in half. So ladies and gentlemen, now, by my scientific calculation, it shall take 20 seconds for the device to detonate, to create the electrical fluid, travel through the electric wire, heat up the alloy to the specific temperature, hot enough, and then detonate the charge. But I am going to need some help. Can you count to 20? Yes. Yes, you can. Can you please demonstrate? Yes.
1, 2.
Sorry, pardon. Can you please count to 20 scientifically? Okay, I'll show you. Ready? 1 banana, 2 bananas. 3 bananas. Okay, can you please count to 5 bananas scientifically? Yeah.
1 banana, 2 banana, 3 banana, 4 banana, 5 banana.
Wonderful! Yes! So, when I put to you, what's your name? Polly. When I put to you, Polly, I'm going to flip this switch, you're going to catch 20 bananas, that there is going to go boom, and then we shall all revel in the marvels of the voltaic battery. Are we ready?
Yes.
You ready, Polly? 3, 2, 1, more thing! Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. What cost would you put on a life? Would you say a life is priceless? Yes? So, this device, which is replacing the safety fuse, which has been known to take innocent, countless lives, could you therefore say this device is priceless? Well, that's good, because would it be wrong to ask for £50 for this device? No? Well, I'm not asking for £50, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not asking for 40, or 30, or 20, or 10. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm asking for a mere £8. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, once the demonstration has concluded, you can line up with your £8. Here, purchase yourself a voltaic battery. We can be on our way. Polly, are you ready? I'm going to flip the switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, with bananas in the middle. That there is going to go boom. You're going to line up with your £8 and you're going to purchase yourself a voltaic battery. Are we ready?
Yes. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, the voltaic battery. In 3, 2, 1. More thing. Sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, this is an explosion, so fingers in your ears, except for Polly, because she has to do this. And also, please step back, because, like I said, this is an explosion, and I hope you do badly with your lives. You ready? Ladies and gentlemen, for real this time, the voltaic battery, in 3, 2, 1! Polly, what did you get to? 5 bananas. What did you do wrong? Ladies and gentlemen, the voltaic battery works at 4 times the speed! Yes! So now, with your £8, you can line up and you can purchase yourself a voltaic battery for your own. Yes, please. £8. £7. 6, okay. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mrs. Samuel Smith. Please enjoy your day at Sovereign Hill. Thank you very much.
Thank you.